Hi, we're recording.
Hi, Lori. Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
So we are going to talk today about the Capricorn moon, and we're talking about the natal moon. So the moon in your natal chart. Before we start talking about the Capricorn side of it, we're going to just touch on what exactly the moon in your natal chart represents. Now, the moon represents a number of things. Astrology is a symbolic language, so there's layers and layers of meaning to each piece. Basically, the moon represents our emotional nature, our instincts. Always think of that. When something hits you and you don't have time to plan, what comes up is the expression of the natal moon, because that is your instinctual place that you go. Now, Noel Till talked about the moon in the natal chart as being the reigning need, representing the reigning need of the life. So that's on the one hand. On another hand, the moon also represents our biggest ego struggle, the thing that we really have to struggle and are challenged by throughout our life is also represented by that moon. So, every sign has a more negative expression and a more enlightened positive expression. So it's really important that we understand what the struggle of the moon is in order to work our way through that and find our way to the higher expression of that moon. What else would you want to say about the moon itself in the natal chart, Jennie?
The other really important thing that one looks at as an astrologer is how the moon relates to your mother. So this is your relationship with your mother. This is how you view your mother. Like your moon sign is like a lens through which you view your mother. It also refers to how you nurture yourself, that part of you that has to parent that those parts of you that still need to grow. It doesn't matter how old you are. And then also how you mother other people around you and what is that energy. So there's that piece. And then the feminine. And again, this is the feminine in everybody, not just whether you're male or female. So everybody has a feminine side. So working with that piece too. So it's a pretty good summary.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So now with the Capricorn moon, what is the core reigning need of the Capricorn moon?
It is to administer progress, to make things happen.
Yeah,
So.
to make things happen, to focus, and you think about the Capricorn being represented by the mountain goat. And one of the things I always think about with Capricorn is that goat, in order to get to the top of that mountain, is on his own. It's on its own. It's not it's a very singular path. I think Capricorn is a singular path of hard work and determination. I think one of the really important things with Capricorn, anyone with a Capricorn moon, if you need to feed that moon, you need to keep a really clear eye on your own personal integrity. If you're building something with this hardworking Capricorn moon, but you don't have integrity to back that up, that gets into the really negative side of the Capricorn moon. So what's the negative side of the Capricorn moon?
Well, I just want to add a little more to some of the things you were mentioning, that I think Capricorn really is a powerful sign. It can really get things done, but it's going to get them done slowly. This is not quick. This is like a boulder by boulder moving of the mountain, but the mountain will move. It's just going to take its dear sweet time. And then the other thing is that the ancient symbol for it is the sea goat. So what that implies is that mountain that you can see, it actually starts way down on the ocean floor. So it really is this behemoth to work with. Right. So anyway, I just wanted to say those things because it's Capricorn.
Well, it's funny you said that about moving mountains, and I have to throw this out because it's so timely in my mind. I am in the process of reading a book that I know is written by a Capricorn, and the name of the book is Moving Mountains.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So
Nice.
there's a little plug for an excellent book called Moving Mountains. If I had the book right here, I'd tell you the subtitle. It's a fascinating book by a woman named Janice Shade. Anyway, there's my little
Cool.
plug for her book, Moving Mountain. What a
Nice.
perfect name.
It is a good, so the back to the vulnerabilities of the sign. So when you're working this out of balance and you're not in the good place with it, it can turn into tyranny, pessimism. It can be cold and really stuck in tradition and very grumbly. But Capricorn, I can't help but say this, represents the patriarchy. And that's some of what we're seeing with the Saturn Pluto stuff, being in Capricorn right now. So can't avoid it. But there it is.
Right. And I think there was something else I wanted to say about that. It's so important. You said something about, the negative side of it, going into areas of tyranny. And I think that's when the integrity is lost. And the that hard working element becomes, you're looking for accolades for it. Capricorn really requires solitude and integrity. Those are two of the most important things to have a healthy, strong Capricorn. Another thing I want to say, with the Capricorn moon, Capricorn is not an easy place to have your moon.
No.
If you're listening to this and your moon is in Capricorn, I'm sorry to have to say this, but it's not an easy place. It's a very useful place, but it's not an easy place. And I think whenever I talk to my Capricorn moon clients, I really stress the issue of, if your feelings get hurt and you have a Capricorn moon, the tendency is to build these walls, these hard, cold walls. That's that negative side, that coldness of Capricorn. And if you have a Capricorn moon, whether those walls are built up strong or not. And if they are, I think it's really important just to really pay attention to finding ways to soften and find vulnerability and develop that, to not get stuck in that cold, because that Capricorn moon can be quite alone in that coldness if they don't work to keep it open. Integrity, I think, is the key. I think it really is. So
and also just like I think of that inspiration to mature wisdom. I mean, that is like the higher level of it, as you work through those things and you are showing others what it is like to have mature wisdom.
That maturity of Capricorn. That's beautiful. It's not an easy moon, but I think it can be, if you really do the work necessary to develop that mature wisdom, to hold yourself to your own accountability and integrity. It can be an incredibly powerful moon. So are we ready for our example?
Yeah,
it's funny because we talked about a lot of different examples, and the one that we decided to talk about was share.
Yay.
So Jennie, what do you have to say about Capricorn moon in Cher's chart?
Well, what's interesting about this chart, so there's Capricorn moon over there in the 7th house. So this is the house of relationships, partnerships, and it's very public. You're going to be seen in this, or that moon is going to be seen over there. But the next thing I think that's important is to look at what are the aspects, what other planets are hitting this moon. And you will see that is right across from Saturn. So what you're seeing, so the moon is in Capricorn and it's opposing Saturn. So that's like a double dose of Capricorn in a sense. That's like serious. This is serious.
Right.
And it's going to be hardworking. And then also it has a square to Jupiter.
Wow.
So we have an example of a T-square in a chart. So basically what that says is there's going to be this struggle And it's going to be really visible because Jupiter is going to help blow it up, and it's in the 7th house. So that's probably part of her public story. But then the nice thing we see, and you can tell this by finding the other earth signs in the chart, if you take your gaze over to that Mercury in Taurus, this is where we were talking about, this is how she gets that amazing voice that she has. Is we think it probably shows up through this aspect, being in contact with Mercury. And Taurus is the sign of music.
Right.
So what do you want to add, Laurie?
Well, I think it's so interesting. I mean, I could talk about this chart a lot, but that opposition between the self and the other, and how much her relationships were so public, and her struggles in relationships were very public and very much involved in the work that she was doing. There was not a separation. She wasn't one of those people who had relationships that we didn't know about. I mean, she started out with Sonny, and then she was with Greg Almond, and all of her relationships were so involved with her outward expression and her work. And I love that trine, because for me, a trine is a gift, and this is this hard work that she has done on herself and in relationship, and the gift that her work brings to the voice that she brings to her community. There's something in that that's pretty beautiful. Now, rather than continuing talking about that, let's look at some other people with a Capricorn moon. That's an interesting listing I have here. Do you have a few you want to throw in first, Jennie?
I have, it is an interesting list. I have Robert Kennedy, who was a champion of civil rights and social justice in his short time. Annie Lennox, the singer, musician. Charles Darwin, Abraham Lincoln, and then some other folks like Napoleon, Hitler, a little Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Oh boy.
There, you can see the negative side that can come out. But then there's also Lucille Ball, which was another extremely hard-working woman in the public eye. Betty Friedan, and Nina Hartley, if you happen to know her. And then Barbara Bush. I think about Barbara Bush, and I can just see that Capricorn moon.
Yeah.
And, Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday, Norman Rockwell, Michael Moore, John McCain. You can feel that Capricorn moon in him too, can't you? And Michael Douglas. Yeah. Interesting bunch of people. Serious. There's such a serious element to that Capricorn moon.
Yeah.
And as another thing that I guess I want to say about Capricorn moon before we go is that anyone who has a really strong Capricorn, as they get older, their life gets easier. It's always, there's that maturity that comes with time, settles that Capricorn a lot. And it takes time to develop the kind of integrity that's needed to manage a Capricorn moon, I think. All right. Yeah. Anything else, Jennie?
No, I think that we've covered it. Take a look at Cher's chart on your own, see what else you come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jennie. Thanks. We'll talk again.
Sorry.
Bye.